Hi everyone, welcome to today's GCSE Higher Revision video. There's 43 days to go into a GCSE Maths exam, and today we're going to go through the answers to yesterday's practice paper. So in yesterday's video, 44 days ago to the GCSE exam, I gave you a practice paper, and there's a link in that description to that video, to that practice paper. And in the video, I went through some hints to those questions. Hopefully you tried those questions, and in this video, I'm going to go through the full solutions. The purpose of this video is just to make sure that you're really confident with all of those topics. So if there's any particular question that you find tricky, do something about it. So in this video, I'm going to go through the solutions, but I'll also sort of say, like, if you find this topic difficult, make sure you watch videos such and such in Corbettmaths and try the practice questions. So the aim of this practice paper has been to help you identify some topics you need to work on while you've got some time before the exam so that you can become confident with them. So in this video, I'm going to go through the solutions. So let's get started.
Hi, so let's go through the answers to the practice paper. So let's start off with question 1. Question 1 says, write 80 as a product of its prime factors. So in terms of this, I'm going to use a prime factor tree. So I'm going to think of two numbers that multiply together to be 80. So I'm going to choose 2 and 40. 2 is prime, so let's circle it. Well, 40 is not, so I'm going to choose two more numbers. So I'm going to choose 2 and 20. 2 is prime, so let's circle it. 20. 2 and 10. 2 is prime, let's circle it. 10, that's 2 times 5. So we've got that 80 is equal to 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 5. So 80 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. And now sometimes the question says to give your answer in index form. So if you're asked to do that, I would write it as 2 to the power 4, because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and then multiply by 5. So that'll be 2 to the power 4 multiplied by 5. And that's it. And if you got that, well done. Okay, next, question number 2. So question number 2, we've been given this rectangle. We've got the length of the rectangle and the width of the rectangle. We've been asked to form an expression for the area of the rectangle. So let's multiply the length by the width. So we're going to do 2x plus 1 multiplied by x minus 3. So whenever we do that, 2x times x is equal to 2x squared. 2x times minus 3 would be minus 6x. 1 times x would be plus x, and 1 times minus 3 would be minus 3. Now let's simplify this. So we've got 2x squared. We've got minus 6x plus x, that'll be minus 5x when we go back up 1x, and then we've got minus 3. And that's it. That's our expression for the area of that rectangle. And again, if you got that, well done. Okay, question number 3. So we've got this right angle triangle, and we've been asked to find the perimeter of this right angle triangle. So it's a right angle triangle. We've got the lengths of two sides. So let's use Pythagoras' theorem to find the length of the third side. So I'm going to label them A, B, and C. And let's write down Pythagoras' theorem, which is A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So let's substitute in our values. A squared, well, that's just still A squared, plus B squared, that's going to be 12 squared, is equal to C squared, which is 15 squared. Okay, now let's square our numbers. So we've got A squared plus 12 squared is 144, and 15 squared is 225. Now we want to find out what A is, the length of this side. So let's take away 144 from both sides. So take away 144 and take away 144. So on our left-hand side, we'd get A squared, and on our right-hand side, we'd be left with 81. So we've got that this side squared is equal to 81. So if we square root that, A is equal to the square root of 81, which is equal to 9. So the A is equal to 9 centimeters. Now the question asks us to find the perimeter of the triangle. So we're going to need to do 9 plus 12 plus 15, and that'll give us the perimeter of this triangle. So 9 plus 12 is equal to 21, plus 15 is equal to 36 centimeters. So the perimeter of this triangle is 36 centimeters. And if you got that, well done. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. Okay, question number 4. So question number 4, we've got these two parallel lines. We're told line A and line B are parallel to each other. We're told that line A passes through the point 0, 11. So we've got the y-intercept for that being 11. We're told that line B has got equation y equals 2x plus 5. And we've been asked to find the equation of line A. Now, because the two lines are parallel, the line A will have the same gradient, so it'll be y equals 2x. It'll have the same gradient of 2, so it's y equals 2x. And then it crosses through the y-axis at 11, so it'll be plus 11. So the equation of line A would be y equals 2x plus 11, because its gradient is 2, the same as line B, and it crosses the y-axis at 11, so it'll be plus 11. And that's it, and if you got that, well done. Okay, question number 5. We've got a class of 10 girls and 15 boys, and they sit a test, and the mean mark for the boys is 76, and the mean mark for the girls is 88, and we've been asked to find the mean mark for the whole class. So altogether, there's 25 students in the class, so 25 students altogether. I'm just going to write that down. Now let's find out the total number of marks scored by the boys. Their mean is 76. If we take the 76 and multiply that by 15, we'll get the grand total. Because remember, to find the mean, we would have added up all the values and divided by 15 to get 76. So if we work work backwards. If we multiply by 15, we can get the grand total. So if we do 76 multiplied by 15, that's equal to 1,140. So that's the grand total for the boys. Okay, the girls, that means 88, and we're going to multiply that by the number of girls, which is 10. So 88 multiplied by 10 is equal to 880. And if we add those up, that'll give us the grand total. So whenever we add those together, we get 2,020 marks. So that means the grand total for the number of marks scored by the class is 2,020. Now we want to find the mean mark for the whole class. Now there's 25 students, so if we take the total and we divide that by the number of students, that'll give us the mean. So whenever we divide by 25, that gives us an answer of 80.8. That means the mean mark for the whole class is 80.8, and that's it. Okay, now let's have a look at our next question, question number 6. Okay, now let's have a look at question number 6. So 6a, we've been asked to simplify root 50. So let's look for the biggest square number that's a factor of 50, and I'm thinking 25, so that's going to be root 25 multiplied by root 2, because root 25 times root 2 would be root 50, and this is a square number, and that's the biggest square number that's a factor of 50. And the square root of 25 is 5, so that'll be 5 root 2. So that means that if we were asked to simplify root 50, the answer would be 5 root 2, 5 root 2. And if you got that, well done. Okay, next we've been asked to arrange these numbers in order from smallest to largest, and we've got 2 root 13, 5 root 2, 3 root 5, and 4 root 3. Okay, now I'm actually just going to get rid of our working out from the hints video, just in case you haven't watched that. So I'm going to go through this again now. Now we know that root 50 is 5 root 2, so this is 5 root 2, and I'm just going to write root 50 above it because I know that this is root 50, and if we simplify root 50 we would get 5 root 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to think of what surds we would have simplified to get 2 root 13, we're going to think of what surd did we simplify to get 3 root 5, and we're going to think of what surd did we simplify to get 4 root 3. In other words, we're going to unsimplify them, we're going to go backwards. Okay, so let's think of our 4 root 3. So 4 root 3, well, the square root of 16 is 4. So 4 times root 3 would be the same as root 16 times root 3, because 4 is the square root of 16. So we've just squared 4 to get 16, and it's the square root of 16, so that's still 4. And now we're going to times these together. Root 16 times root 3 would be root 48. So that means that this would be root 48, so root 48. And if we simplify root 48, that's equal to 4 root 3. Okay, now let's look at the 3 root 5. So 3 multiplied by root 5, well, the square root of 9 is 3, so that's the square root of 9 multiplied by the square root of 5. And the square root of 9 multiplied by the square root of 5 with the square root of 45. So this is root 45, so this is root 45. Okay, next let's have a look at 2 root 13. Okay, so 2 root 13, that's 2 multiplied by root 13. The square root of 4 is 2, so that's the square root of 4 multiplied by the square root of 13. And root 4 times root 13 is root 52. So this would be the square root of 52. And now we've been asked to put these in order from smallest to largest. So we can see this is the smallest, 3 root 5, because the square root of 45 would be the smallest answer. Next we've got this one, which is root 48, which is 4 root 3, so 4 root 3. Next then it would be this one here, 5 root 2, so 5 root 2. And then the largest would be 2 root 13, 2 root 13, because we're just looking at what the surds are, and obviously root 45, then root 48, then root 50, and then root 52. But I'm writing down what we're given in the question, and that's it. And if you got that, well done. Okay, now let's have a look at question number 7. Okay, let's have a look at question number 7. So question number 7 is expanding 3 brackets. So to expand 3 brackets, I'm going to expand the first 2 to begin with. So if I do 2x times x, that's equal to 2x squared. Then I've got 2x times 3, that's going to be plus 6x. Then 1 times x, that's plus x, and then 1 times 3, that's going to be plus 3. And then whenever we simplify this, we would get 2x squared, and then we've got 6x plus x, that's going to be plus 7x, and then we've got our plus 3. So that's what we get whenever we expand our first 2 brackets. Now we still need to expand this with our x minus 5, so let's then put that in a bracket and write x minus 5 after it. Now we need to expand again. So 2x squared times x would be 2x cubed. So 2x squared multiplied by minus 5 would be minus 10x squared. 7x times x would be plus 7x squared. 7x times minus 5 would be minus 35x. And then 3 times x is plus 3x. And then 3 times minus 5 would be minus 15. Now we just need to simplify. So we've got our 2x cubed to begin with. So 2x cubed. There's no over x cubed terms. Then in terms of our x squared terms, we've got minus 10x squared plus 7x squared. So if we go back up 3x squared, that'll be minus 3x squared. Then in terms of our x terms, we've got minus 35x plus 3x. If we go back up 3x, that'll be minus 32x. And then finally, we've got our minus 15. And that's it, we're done. We've got 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 32x minus 15. And that's it. And if you got that, well done. Okay, let's have a look at question number 8. So question number 8 is an indices question. So let's have a look at these indices. So we've got 36 to the power of a half. So the power of a half means square root. So we're going to square root 36. That's 6. Okay, part B says work out the value of 27 to the power of minus 2/3. So because it's a minus power, we're going to do 1 over, and then we've got 27 to the power of 2/3. Now in terms of to the power of 2/3, we're going to do the cube root of 27. So the cube root of 27 is equal to 3, because 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. And then we're going to square that. 3 squared is equal to 9. So 27 to the power of 2/3 is equal to 9. So then we'd have 1 over 9. So our answer is 1/9. And if you got that, well done. Okay, let's have a look at part C. So part C says to simplify 16x to the power of 6 all to the power of 3 over 2. So let's deal with the number in the front to begin with. So we've got 16 to the power of 3 over 2. So we're going to do the square root of 16 and then we're going to cube that answer. So the square root of 16 is equal to 4, and then 4, then on the numerator we've got a 3, so 4 cubed would be equal to 64. So that's going to be 64. And then in terms of the x, we've got a power of a power, so we just need to multiply the powers together. So 6 multiplied by 3 over 2. What's 6 over 1 multiplied by 3 over 2? 6 times 3 is 18, and 1 times 2 is equal to 2. So that's 18 over 2, which is equal to 18 divided by 2 is 9. So that means our answer is 64x to the power of 9, and that's it. And if you got that, well done. So just to recap, we've done 16 to the power of 3 over 2. So we square rooted it, which is 4, and cubed that was 64. Then in terms of our x to the power of 6, all to the power of 3 over 2, we multiply the powers together. 6 times 3 over 2, well, 6 times 1.5 is equal to 9. So it's going to be x to the power of 9. Okay, next is a conditional probability question. So Orla's got 6 black socks, 3 white socks, and 2 blue socks, and she's going to pick 2 socks at random without replacement. So in other words, she's taken out a sock and then taken out another sock without putting the first sock back in, which is probably what you do whenever you take out 2 socks out of a drawer. Okay, so the question says, find the probability she chooses 2 socks of the same color. So let's find the probability of a black and a black to begin with. So black and black to begin with. So in terms of the first sock being black, well, let's see how many socks there are altogether. 6 plus 3 is equal to 9, plus 2 is equal to 11. And 6 of them are black. So the probability of the first sock being black would be 6/11. Now, after that black sock's been taken out, now there's going to be, after one of these black socks has been taken out, there'll then be 5 black socks. Altogether now, in terms of the second one being black, probably the second one being black, but now there's 10 socks in the drawer, so there's 10 socks, and there's only 5 black socks, so probably the next sock being chosen at random being black would be 5/10. And then probably if black and a black, we'd multiply these properties together. So 6/11 times 5/10. It's a calculator question, so let's do this on our calculator. That's equal to 3/11. So the probability of getting a black sock and a black sock would be 3/11. Okay, now I'm actually just going to put those socks back in because we're now going to look at the probability of a white and a white. So the probability of white and white. Okay, so the probability for white and a white, well, again, there's 11 socks in the drawer, and the probably the first one being white would be 3/11, so 3/11. After one of those white socks has been taken out, there's now only 10 socks in the drawer, so the probability of the next sock being white would be 2 out of 10, or 2/10, so multiply by 2/10. And if we multiply these together, 3/11 multiplied by 2/10, let's see what we get. That's equal to 3/55. So the probability of getting a white sock and a white sock, or 2 white socks, would be 3/55. And finally, the probability of a blue sock and a blue sock, so blue and blue. Okay, and let's put that white sock back in now. Okay, so the probability of the first one being blue, well, there's 2 blue socks out of 11, so 2/11, multiplied by, well, after one of the blue socks has come out, there's only 1 blue sock left in the drawer now, and there's 10 socks in the drawer, so there's going to be 1 out of 10 socks, so 1/10. So we've got 2/11 multiplied by 1/10. When we multiply these together, we get an answer of 1/55, so 1/55. So we've got the probability now of a black sock and a black sock, a white sock and a white sock, and a blue sock and a blue sock, and we want to find the probability she chooses 2 socks of the same colour, so it's either that option, or that option, or that option, so we can just add these together now. So if we add these together, let's see what we get. So 3/11 plus 3/55 plus 1/55 would be equal to 19/55. So the probability that Orla chooses 2 socks of the same colour is 19/55. So it's probably not the best way to choose 2 socks out of a drawer at random. You're probably best looking and actually taking out the socks that you want. Okay, so that's it. So that's question number 9. Okay, let's have a look at question number 10. Okay, question number 10. So we've got this straight line that passes through the points A and B, and we've been asked to find the equation of the line that's perpendicular to AB. So that means obviously it crosses AB at right angles and passes through the point B. So it passes through the point 5, 16. Okay, so we want to find the equation of the line that's perpendicular to AB. So it'd be in the format y equals mx plus c. So we want to find its gradient and its y-intercept. So let's find the gradient of the perpendicular line to begin with. So if we find the gradient of this line, then we can find its negative reciprocal to find the gradient of the line that's perpendicular to it. So let's find the gradient of the line AB. So let's do a little right angle triangle, and let's find the rise and the run. So in terms of the run, we're going from 1 across to 5, so we're going 4 across here. And in terms of the rise, we're going from a height of 4 up to a height of 16, so we're going up 12. So we've got the rise and the run, so we now want to find the gradient of this line. So gradient m is equal to rise over run. In terms of its rise, it's going up 12, and its run is 4, so we're going to do 12 divided by 4, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. So the gradient of this line is 3. So it means the gradient of the line that's perpendicular to it will be the negative reciprocal of 3. So the negative reciprocal of 3 would be minus a third, so minus a third x plus c. So the line that's perpendicular to AB will be in the format y equals minus a third x plus c, because we found the gradient of AB, which is a third, and then we've done the negative reciprocal of that, which would be minus 1/3. Okay, so we now know the equation of the line that's perpendicular to this line will be in the form y equals minus a third x plus c. We now need to find c where it crosses the y-axis, because we know it passes through the point B. It passes through this point. So the line passes through this point, okay? So because it passes through this point, we can substitute in x equals 5 and y equals 16 into this equation, and then we can find the plus c. Okay, so let's do that. So y is equal to 16, so we're going to have 16 is equal to minus a third times x, that's minus a third times 5, and then plus c. So minus a third times 5, that's going to be minus 5/3. So we're going to have 16 equals minus 5/3 plus c. Now we want to get the c on its own, so we want to get rid of this minus 5/3. So let's add 5/3 to both sides. So add 5/3 and add 5/3. Now this is a non-calculator question, so we're going to have to do this manually. So we've got 16 plus 5/3. Now in terms of 5/3, 5/3 would be 1 and 2/3. So we've got 16 plus 1 and 2/3. So 16 plus 1 and 2/3 would be 17 and 2/3. So we get that 17 and 2/3 is equal to, and then we had minus 5/3 plus 5/3, so that's 0, so that's equal to c. So we now know that the y-intercept is 17 and 2/3. Now you could write this as top-heavy fraction if you wanted to, which would be 53/3. Or alternatively, you could leave it as a mixed number. So let's write our equation. So the equation would be y equals, the gradient of the perpendicular line was minus a third, so minus a third x, and the y-intercept would be plus 17 and 2/3, or again you could write it as 17 times 3 is 51 plus 2 is 53/3. You could do it that way if you wanted to, and that's it. So that's the equation of the line that's perpendicular to AB and passes through the point B. Okay, let's have a look at question number 11. So question number 11a says write this number in standard form. Well, we need a number between 1 and 10, so I'm going to choose 5.18. That's a number between 1 and 10, which I think would be sensible to use. Multiply by 10. Now we just need the power. Now because it's a 0.00 and so on number, it's going to have a negative power, so it's going to be negative. And let's just count the number in zeros in front of the 5. So that's 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be to the power of negative 3. And that's it. So that's our answer, 5.18 times 10 to the negative 3. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. Our next question says to calculate 9 times 10 to the power of 6, all to the power of negative 3. That's a calculator question, so we can just type this into our calculator, and we've been asked to give our answer in standard form. So when we type this into our calculator, I get that's equal to 1.371742112 and so on, multiplied by 10 to the power of negative 21, and that's it. So I've just typed that into our calculator. It's just important that you know how to type in numbers in standard form into your calculator, and that's what you'd get. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 12. So question number 12, we've got the universal set, which is the multiples of 3 between 1 and 29. So let's write these down. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, and 27. Okay, and if we scroll down, we're told to part A, complete the Venn diagram. So let's put these numbers in the Venn diagram. So in terms of numbers in the middle, so they're in all three sets, that'll be 9. So 9's in all three, so let's put 9 in the middle. Okay, not 3, not 6, not 12, 15. Nope, that's it. Okay, so we'll put the numbers in the middle. Okay, now let's look at these numbers here, the numbers that would be in sets A and B, but not C. So A and B, but not C. So that's going to be 3. 3's in A and B, but not C. So 3, let's put that in, 3. And then let's have a look at any more. Nope, that's it. Okay, now let's look for any numbers that will go here. So there are numbers that are in both A and C, but not in B. So A and C. So we've got 21. Yeah, 21's in A and C, but not in B. So 21. Let's put that there. 21. Any more? Nope. Okay, now let's look at any numbers that will go here. So there are numbers that are in B and C, but not A. So B and C. So 6 is in B and C, but not A. So 6. Any more? 15 as well. So 15 will go in there as well. and then that's it. Okay, so 27 would go here, it's only in A. We've then got 12 would go in B, only B, and 18 would only go in C. So let's just make sure we've got all the numbers and see if there's any that would go outside. So 3, yes, then 6, yes, 9, yes, 12, yes, 15, yes, 18, yes, 21, yes, 24, no, so 24 is going to go outside, it's not in A, B, or C, and then 27, yes, so we've now got all our numbers in the Venn diagram. So let's just check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers. So that's right. Okay, part B. Part B says the numbers chosen at random from the universal set, so from these numbers, so there's 9 of them all together. And it says find the probability that the number chosen at random is in A intersects C. Okay, so we've got A here and we've got C here. So A intersects C would be anything in this region here. So there's 2 numbers in there out of the 9, so it's going to be 2/9. So the probability that the number chosen at random will be in A intersects C, that's going to be 2/9. And if you got that, well done. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. Okay, let's have a look at question number 13. So question number 13 says Yvonne rounds a number y, so there's a certain number y, and she rounds it to 1 decimal place, and her result is 8.4. Write down the error interval for y. So let's consider what y could have been. So it could have been numbers below 8.4. So for instance, it could be 8.39. That would round to be 8.4 to 1 decimal place. It could be 8.36. That would round to be 8.4 to 1 decimal place. It could even be 8.35. But anything below that would round down. So that means that y is greater than or equal to 8.35. That's the lower bound. Now in terms of the upper bound, it could be numbers above 8.4. It could have been 8.41. That would round to be 8.4 to 1 decimal place. It could be 8.4337. That would round to be 8.4 to 1 decimal place. It could be anything up to, but not including 8.45. Obviously 8.45 would round up to be 8.5, but anything just below that would round down to be 8.4. So that's the upper bound. So it means that y is greater than or equal to 8.35, but lower than 8.45. And that's it. So let's write that down. And if you got that, well done. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. So Beth owns 6 shops and 3 restaurants, and she's going to visit 3 of her businesses and writes her list in order. So she's going to visit them in a particular order, and the order will either be a shop, a restaurant, and then a shop, or a restaurant, a shop, and then a restaurant. Find out how many different lists Bethan can write. So in terms of shop, restaurant, shop, so she owns 6 shops, so she's got a choice of 6 shops to begin with. Then she's going to visit a restaurant. Well, she owns 3 restaurants, so she's got a choice of 3 restaurants in terms of the second business she visits. And then she's going to visit another shop. Now, she's already visited one of the shops. That means she's got a choice of 5 shops then to visit. So using the product rule for counting, if we multiply those together, that tells us how many possible lists she can write in terms of shop, restaurant, shop. So 6 times 3 is equal to 18, times 5 is equal to 90. So that means she could write down 90 possible options in terms of visiting a shop, then a restaurant, then a shop. Now, in terms of a restaurant, shop, and a restaurant, well, she owns 3 restaurants, so she's going to visit a restaurant first. So that's 3 possible restaurants she can visit. Then a shop, which she owns 6 of those. And then finally another restaurant. Well, she's already visited one of the restaurants, so that leaves her a choice of 2 different restaurants she can visit then. So if we do 3 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 2, that'll tell us how many options she can write down in terms of visiting a restaurant, then a shop, and then another restaurant. So 3 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 2 is equal to 36, so equal to 36. So altogether, we would have 90 plus 36 is equal to 126. So there's 126 possible lists she could write in terms of the businesses she's going to visit, and that's it. And if you got that, well done. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 15. Okay, so let's have a look at question number 15. And actually, I forgot to do this question, so you might notice it looks a bit different than the other questions that I've gone through. And also, it sounds a bit different because I'm recording this at a bit of the last minute. So we've got the equation of a circle is x squared plus y squared equals 36. And we've been asked to find the circumference of the circle. And we've been asked to give our answer to 1 decimal place. So first of all, the equation of a circle, well, it's in the form x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So that means that we can find out the radius of the circle, because if we know that r squared is equal to 36, then we know the radius of the circle must be 6, because 6 squared is 36. So we know the radius of the circle is equal to 6. Now we just need to find the circumference of the circle. The circumference is equal to pi times diameter. So we're going to do pi times 12. If the radius is 6, the diameter would be 12. So we're just going to do pi times 12. And that's equal to 37.699111184 and so on. And we've been asked to round that to 1 decimal place. So the answer is 37.7. And that's it. So the equation of a circle is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So we know that r squared, the radius squared, is 36. So we know the radius is 6. So the diameter would be 12. Just times that by pi. And that gives you the circumference of the circle. And that's it. Okay, let's have a look at question number 16. So we've got this tree diagram, and it says that a course consists of 8 weeks of teaching, then a final exam at the end of the course. If a student fails the final exam, they have an opportunity to retake the exam. So that's obviously this retake here. The probability that a student passes the final exam is 0.6. So the probability of passing is 0.6. So the probability of failing would be 0.4. And then in terms of the retake, the probability that the student passes the retake is 0.8, and the probability then of failing would be 0.2. And part A says to complete the tree diagram, so we've done that. In terms of then their next part, so the next part says if a student passes the final exam or the retake, they receive a certificate. Work out the probability that a student receives a certificate. So in terms of our tree diagram, well, if they pass the exam, so if they pass it, so in other words, if they pass the final exam there, or if they pass the retake, then they get a certificate. So let's find these probabilities. So in terms of this probability, well, that's just going to be 0.6, so that's going to be 0.6. The probability of passing the final exam is 0.6. In terms of failing the final exam and then passing the retake, we're going to multiply the probabilities along the branches. So we're going to do 0.4 multiplied by 0.8, that's equal to 0.32. So the probability of somebody failing the final exam and then passing the retake would be 0.32. So then if we add those together, if we add these together, that'll tell us the probability that they will pass either the final exam or the retake, and then that'll tell us the probability that they get a certificate. So if we do 0.6 plus 0.32, that's equal to 0.92. So that's the probability of a student getting a certificate, 0.92. Now, just to show you that we could also work out this probability, the probability of failing and failing, so 0.4 multiplied by 0.2, that's equal to 0.08. So that's the probability of not getting a certificate. So if we do 1 minus 0.08, that's also equal to 0.92. So just to show you could use either approach. And that's it. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. Okay, let's have a look at question number 19. So question number 19, we've got this triangle, G, and we've been asked to rotate G 90 degrees anti-clockwise about the point -1, -2. So plotted the point -1, -2. Then what we should do is get some tracing paper, so some tracing paper, and what we should do is put it over the top of G like so, and to mark on where the center of rotation is. So as you can see, I've marked on where the center of rotation is on top of the center of rotation, -1, -2. So as you can see, we've drawn on top of G like so. Now what we're going to do is we're going to rotate the tracing paper 90 degrees anti-clockwise. And whenever you rotate it at 90 degrees anti-clockwise, it'll end up here. So then what you're going to do is you're going to move the tracing paper and then draw that triangle on the grid. So it looks something like this. And that's it. So we've rotated G 90 degrees anti-clockwise about -1, -2. And that's it. And if you got that, well done. Okay, next question. Okay, question number 18. So question number 18, it's a volume over frustum question. So we want to find the volume of this frustum. Remember, a frustum is just a pyramid with the top chopped off. So we want to find the volume of this frustum. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to find the volume of the pyramid to begin with. So this is pyramid 1. And remember, the volume is equal to a third the area of the base times the height. So in terms of this pyramid, it's a square base pyramid. We're told it's a square base pyramid. So it's a square on the base. And the side length for that square is 12 centimeters. So it's 12 multiplied by 12. And 12 multiplied by 12 is equal to 144 centimeters squared. That's the area of the base. In terms of the height of the pyramid's got a height of 15 centimeters. So if we want to find the volume of this pyramid, we're going to do the volume is equal to a third multiplied by the area of the base, which is 144, multiplied by the height of the pyramid, which is 15. And when we do that, we get the volume of that pyramid, and that's equal to 720 centimeters cubed. So that's the volume of pyramid 1. Now we need to find the volume of pyramid 2, because that's been chopped off, and we're going to take that away from the volume of pyramid 1 to find the volume of the frustum. So in terms of pyramid 2, well, it's a square base pyramid as well, and its side length is 4 centimeters in terms of that square. So 4 multiplied by 4 is equal to 16 centimeters squared. That's the area of the base of that pyramid. In terms of its height, well, let's compare the bases. This base is 12 by 12, and this base is 4 by 4. It's a third of the size of that. So if we have a look at the height of the whole pyramid is 15 centimeters. So the height of this pyramid would be 5 centimeters. It'd be a third of it. So because obviously we can see we've divided the length of the base by 3. So we'll divide the height by 3 because these pyramids are mathematically similar. So they have to have the same scale factor of enlargement. So now we want to find the volume of that pyramid. So the volume is equal to a third. The area of the base, which is equal to 16, multiplied by the height, which is equal to 5. So let's work this out. And that's equal to 26.666 and so on centimeters cubed. So we've now got the volume of the whole pyramid and the volume of the bit that's removed. So if we take them away, we'll get the volume of the frustum, 693.3 recurring centimeters cubed. So that's the volume of the frustum, 693.333 and so on centimeters cubed. Now this question says this frustum is made from a material with a density of 4.8 grams per centimetre cubed. So each centimetre cubed has got a mass of 4.8 grams. So if we multiply this volume by 4.8, we'll find the mass of this frustum, and that's what we've been asked to find. So 693.333 and so on, multiplied by 4.8 will give us the mass of this frustum. So multiplied by 4.8 is equal to 3,328 grams. Or if we change that into kilograms, 3.328 kilograms. So that's the mass of the frustum, 3,328 grams or 3.328 kilograms. And that's it. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 19. Okay, so question number 19, it's an estimated mean question, so we want to find the estimated mean. So remember, we're going to add on the fx column. So we're going to do the midpoint times the frequency, and so on to get our fx column. So let's write down the midpoint. So in between 0 and 2 would be 1. The midpoint of 2 and 4 would be 3. The midpoint of 4 and 6 would be 5. The midpoint of 6 and 8 would be 7. And the midpoint of 8 and 10 would be 9. So we've got our midpoints. Now we just need to multiply them by the frequencies to find the fx column. So 22 times 1 is equal to 22, 10 times 3 is equal to 30, 11 times 5 is equal to 55, 4 times 7 is equal to 28, and 3 times 9 is equal to 27. So we've got our fx column. If we add them up now, that'll give us our total, or our estimate for the total. So 22 plus 30 plus 55 plus 28 plus 27 is equal to 162. Now let's find our total frequency. Well, if we add those up, we should get 50. Let's just check. Yep, that's equal to 50. And then we want to find the estimate of the mean. Well, that's going to be the total divided by the total frequency. So 162 divided by 50 will give us the mean distance travelled to school. So 162 divided by 50 is equal to 3.24 miles. So 3.24 miles. And that's it. And if you got that, well done. Okay, let's have a look at question number 20. Okay, so question number 20, we've got the surface areas of two mathematically similar shapes in the ratio of 4 to 9, and the volume of the smaller shape is 656 centimeters cubed. Work out the volume of the larger solid. So in terms of this question, we've been given the ratios of the surface areas. So if we square root that, we'll get the ratios of the sides. So the square root of 4 is equal to 2, and the square root of 9 is equal to 3. So that means that the sides of these solids are in the ratio 2 to 3. Then in terms of the volumes, if we cube those, that'll give us the ratios for the volumes. So 2 cubed is equal to 8 and 3 cubed is equal to 27. So that means the volume of these shapes are in the ratio 8 to 27. So in other words, for every 8 centimeters cubed of the smaller one, that's equal to 27 centimeters cubed of the larger one. So if we take the volume of the smaller one, which is 656, and we divide that by 8, we can then get that and then multiply by 27 and we'll find the volume of the larger one. So 656 divided by 8 is equal to 82, and then 82 multiplied by 27 is equal to 2,214 centimeters cubed. 2,214 centimeters cubed. And that's it. That's the volume of the larger solid. Okay, next, question number 21. Okay, next, question number 21. So it's a cumulative frequency question. And part A says, use the graph to find an estimate for the median time taken. So altogether, there's 40 children in total. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a ruler and pencil, and we're going to go for the median. We're going to half 40, that's 20. And we're going to go 20 across to here, and then down, which would be to here, and then we're just going to read off this value, and this would be our median. That'll be our estimate for our median in seconds. So let's work out what number this is. So we've got 15, 20, so 16, 17, 18 seconds. So that's our estimate for the median, 18 seconds, and if you got that, well done. Okay, next, part B. Part B says, estimate how many students took longer than 35 seconds to solve the puzzle. So we're going to go 35 seconds up and across, so let's do that. Okay, now let's read off our cumulative frequency. That's 37. So that means that altogether, there's 37 students took up to 35 seconds. So if we were asked how many students took less than 35 seconds to solve the puzzle, our estimate would be 37. We were asked for more than 35 seconds, or longer than 35 seconds. That's going to be the rest. That's going to be the other 3 students. So it's going to be 3, and that's it. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 22. So question number 22, we've been asked to work out the area of this rectangle. So this is a trigonometry question. We've got this right angle triangle. We've got this angle here, which is 28 degrees, and we've got the length of the hypotenuse is 7 centimeters. So let's label the sides of this triangle. It's a calculator question, and as I said, we're going to use trigonometry to find the opposite and to find the adjacent, and then we can multiply them together to get the area of the rectangle. Okay, so let's label the sides of our triangle. So if this is the right angle, the side opposite it would be the hypotenuse. We've got a 28-degree angle, so the side opposite that will be the opposite, and the other side, the third side, will be the adjacent. So we've got the opposite, the hypotenuse, and the adjacent. Now we want to find out, first of all, the opposite. So let's find the opposite to begin with, and then we'll find the adjacent afterwards. Let's jot down our trig ratios. Okay, so there are our trig ratios. Now we want to find the opposite to begin with. So let's find the size of the opposite first of all. So to find the size of the opposite, well, let's consider what sides we're going to be using. So we want to find the opposite. So we're going to be using the opposite. We're definitely going to be using the hypotenuse because it's 7 centimeters. But we're not going to be using or finding the adjacent in our first part. So let's just cross that out. We're not going to be finding the adjacent. So let's cross off any with an a in it. So we're not going to be using cos. We're not going to be using tan, we're going to be using sine. So we're going to be using the fact that sine of the angle is equal to the opposite divided by the hypotenuse. So the sine of the angle, so that's going to be the sine of 28 degrees. So the sine of 28 degrees is equal to the opposite, well, that's the opposite, I'm just going to call it the opposite, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 7 in this case, so divided by 7. Now we want to find the opposite, so we don't want this to divide by 7, so we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by 7, so multiply by 7 and multiply by 7. So on the left hand side, we've got the sine of 28, and then close brackets, multiply by 7, and that's equal to the opposite. So if we do the sine of 28 multiplied by 7, that's going to give us the opposite. So let's do that. The sine of 28, close brackets, multiplied by 7, is equal to 3.28630094, and that's equal to the opposite. So that's the opposite. So that means that this side here is 3.28630094 centimeters. So that's the length of the opposite. Now in terms of finding the length of this side, what I'm going to do is actually, rather than using trigonometry again, which I could do, I could label the sides opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse. I'd be using the hypotenuse and the adjacent this time, so I'd probably be using cos, and I could use trigonometry again. But actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Pythagoras' theorem, because we've got a right angle triangle here. So I'm going to label the sides A, the shortest side, B, the middlest side, and C, the longest side. And so we've got A, B, and C, and we've got A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So that's A squared, which is this is our 3.286 and so on squared, plus B squared, which is what we're trying to find, which is, let's just call it B, so B squared is equal to the longest side, C squared, and C is equal to 7, so 7 squared. This is equal to 10.799777386 plus B squared is equal to 7 squared is 49. When we take this away from both sides, we'll get that B squared equals, and 49 take away answer is equal to 38.200222614. Now we want to find out what B is, so we're going to square root. So B is equal to the square root of 38.200 and so on. And when we square root that, we get an answer of B would be equal to 6.18063315. So we now know the length of the rectangle. The length of the rectangle is 6.18063315 centimeters. So we've got the width of the rectangle, we've got the length of the rectangle. If we multiply them together, we'll now find the area of the rectangle. So let's do that. And if I press equals, that gives me an answer of 20.3114 2053. So that's the area of the rectangle, and if we wanted to, you could round this perhaps to 20.3 or 20.31 centimeters squared and so on. But the area of the rectangle is 20.311420053 centimeters squared, and that's it. That's the area of the rectangle, and that's it. And if you got that, well done. Okay, let's have a look at question number 23. So question number 23 says to factorize 2x squared minus x minus 21. So let's put our brackets down. Now you could use the split in the middle technique or just putting down the brackets and using inspection. I'm going to use inspection, but if you've watched this video, you'll see how to use split in the middle technique, and I'll give you the same answer anyway. So in terms of the brackets, I'm going to put a 2x and an x in the front of the brackets. Now the two numbers will multiply together to be minus 21. So it could be, for instance, minus 21 on 1. It could be minus 21 on 1. It could be minus 1 on 21. It could be minus 3 and 7, or minus 7 and 3, and so on. I'm going to focus on this minus 3 and 7 to begin with, because with the term in the middle is minus x, I'm thinking that if I put the 3 over here, that would be 2x times 3, which is 6x. And if I put the 7 over here, x times 7 times x is 7x. Now I want to get minus x, so I want the 7x to be negative, so I'm going to put the minus sign there and the plus sign there. And then let's just check that. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 3 is 6x, and minus 7 times x is minus 7x, and 6x minus 7x is minus 1x. Fantastic. And minus 7 times 3 is minus 21, and that's it. So let's write that down. 2x minus 7, x minus 3, and that's it. We've factorized it, and if you use split in the middle, that would be fine as well, as long as you get it right. Okay, next, we're now asked to solve this quadratic equals 0. So I'm actually just going to write it out again. So we've got our brackets, and then equals 0. Now remember, if two things multiply together to give us 0, then one of them has to be equal to 0. So either this bracket is 0 or this bracket is 0. In this case, this is quite straightforward. X would be minus 3, so x equals minus 3. Or in this case, I'm going to write 2x minus 7 equals 0. I'm just going to put the bracket equals 0. And we're going to add 7 to both sides to give me 2x equals 7. And divide by 2 gives me x equals 3.5, or 7 over 2. So x equals 3.5, or x equals minus 3, and that's it. So you could write x equals 3.5 or x equals minus 3. Or you could write this as top every fraction, or even a mixed number. You could write it as x equals 7 over 2 or x equals minus 3, and so on. And that's it. And if you got that, well done. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. Okay, question number 24. We've been asked to make y the subject of this, and I like these questions, so let's bring all the y's to one side and everything else to the other. So let's get rid of this minus 9x to begin with. So let's add 9x and add 9x. So on the left hand side, we would just left with our 7y, and our right hand side would have xy plus 2 plus 9x. Now we want to bring all the y's to the left hand side, so we want to get rid of this xy on the right hand side, so let's minus xy and minus xy. So on the left hand side we'd have 7y minus xy, and on the right hand side we'll be left with 2 plus 9x. So we've brought all the terms involving y's to the left hand side, and we'll put everything else to the right hand side. Now we want to get the y on its own, so let's factorize this left hand side. So let's do a y and then a bracket, and let's take out the y, so we'll be left with 7 minus x equals 2 plus 9x. Now I'm just going to move this up here, just so I've got a bit more space. Now I want to get the y on its own, so here we've got y multiplied by this bracket. So we don't want this bracket here, so let's divide both sides by 7 minus x. So on the left hand side, we'll be just left with y, because y times 7 minus x, if we divide by the 7 minus x, we'll be left with y. On the right hand side, we had 2 plus 9x. We're going to divide that by 7 minus x, so we're just going to put that beneath it, and that's it. So y equals 2 plus 9x over 7 minus x, and if you got that, well done. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 25. Okay, question number 25, we've been asked to find the area of the sector. Now, yesterday I did go through the hints, and the area of a sector is v2 over 360 multiplied by pi multiplied by the radius squared, or v2 over 360 multiplied by pi r squared, the area of the circle. So the fraction of the circle, well, as you can see, we're trying to find the area of this sector. So the size of the angle is 340 degrees, so it's going to be 340 over 360, so because we've got 340 360ths of a full circle, multiplied by pi, multiplied by the radius of the circle squared, so it's going to be 8 squared, so 8 squared. And this is a calculator question, so we can just type this into our calculator and then get our answer and then round it to 2 decimal places. So let's do that. And when we do that, we get an answer of 189.89182226 centimeters squared. But let's round that. We want to round it to 2 decimal places. That'll be 189.89 centimeters squared to 2 decimal places, and that's it. And if you got that, well done. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 26. So question number 26 is a reverse percentages question. We're told an energy bar contains 6.6 grams of protein, and that 15% of the bar is protein, and we've been asked to find the total mass of the bar. So in other words, we know that 15% of the mass of the bar would be equal to 6.6 grams. So 15% of the mass of the bar is equal to 6.6 grams. So if we divide this by 15, we can find what 1% of the mass of the bar is. So if we divide by 15, so divide by 15 and divide by 15, so divide by 15. So if we do 6.6 divided by 15, that's equal to 0.44 grams. Now we want 100%, we want to find the total mass of the bar, so multiply by 100 and multiply by 100. So then we get 100% would be equal to 44 grams. So that means that the total mass of the bar would be 44 grams, and that's it. So what we done was we knew that 15% of the mass is equal to 6.6 grams. So we then found 1% and then found 100%. Alternatively, if we had the total mass of the bar, let's call that y. If we then multiply that by 0.15, that would give us what 15% of it is, which in this case is 6.6 grams. So if we go backwards, if we divide by 0.15, we can then find y. And if we do 6.6 divided by 0.15, that's also equal to 44. So that means the mass of the bar is 44 grams. And if you got that, well done. Okay, question number 27. Okay, so question number 27, we've got this question about travelling between Leek and Milton, and we're told that the distance is 118 miles to the nearest mile. So in terms of the distance, the lower bound would be equal to 117.5 miles, and the upper bound would be equal to 118.5 miles, because it's to the nearest mile, so that's the lower bound and upper bound. And the speed is 50 miles per hour to the nearest 10 miles per hour, so the lower bound for the speed would be 45 miles per hour, and the upper bound for the speed is 55 miles per hour. So we've got the lower bound and the upper bound for the distance and the speed, but we've been asked to find the lower bound for the time taken. So we want to find the lowest possible time. So if we want to find the lowest possible time, now remember that time is equal to distance divided by speed. So we want to do distance divided by speed, but if we want to find the lowest possible time, we want to do the lowest distance at the greatest speed. So if we do 117.5 divided by 55, that's going to give us the smallest possible answer in terms of the time. So if we do 117.5 divided by 55, so 117.5 divided by 55, that's equal to 2.136336 and so on. 2.136336 and so on. And in terms of our units, we were dividing our distance, which was miles, by miles per hour, so that's in hours. So it would take 2.13633636 and so on hours. Now we want to give our answer in hours and minutes into the nearest minute. So in terms of hours, well, it's going to be 2 hours. Now in terms of this, I'm going to take away 2 on my calculator, so that leaves me with the 320 seconds, or 0.1363636. And if we take 60 minutes and we multiply that by 0.1363636, that'll tell us how many minutes it'll be. So we multiply by 60, that's equal to 90/11ths, or 8.1818 and so on minutes. Now we want to give it to the nearest minute, so if we round this to the nearest minute, that'll be 8 minutes. So 2 hours and 8 minutes. That's how long the journey would take to the nearest minute, and that's it. And if you got that, well done. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 28. So in question number 28, we've been asked to draw a histogram, and yesterday whenever we wrote down the hints, we wrote that frequency density is equal to frequency divided by Collatz width. So we want to draw a histogram, so we want to find the frequency densities. So to find the frequency density, we're going to divide the frequency, which in this case would be 8, by the Collatz width, which is how wide the class is. So if we do our 8 divided by 0.5, 8 divided by 0.5 is equal to 16. So that means the frequency density for the first category is 16. The next one, the frequency, which is 10, divided by the Collatz width, which is 0.5, and 10 divided by 0.5 is 20. So our next frequency density is 20. Next, we're going to take our frequency, which is 7, and divide that by the Collatz width, which is 0.5, and that's equal to 14. Okay, next we're going to take our next frequency, which is 9, and divide that by the Collatz width, which is 1.5 in this case. It's 1.5 wide. If we do 3, take away 1.5, that's 1.5. And whenever we do 9 divided by 1.5, that's equal to 6. And finally, our last category, we've got a frequency of 6, and we're going to divide that by the Collatz width, which is 2. It's 2 wide. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. So we've got our frequency densities, we've got our times. Now we just need to draw our bars for our histogram. So let's do that. And actually, we need to label the vertical axis, and we need to go up to a height of 20. So let's do that. So that's our frequency densities. And then in terms of our horizontal axis, we've got weight and time. Okay, now let's draw our bars. Look, something like that, in between 2 and 4. So frequency density of 3, and it goes between 3 and 5. And that's it. That's our histogram. And if you drew a histogram that looked like that, well done. Okay, next, our next question. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. So in this question, we've been asked to show that this recurring decimal is equal to 1 and 17 330ths. So let's start off with this recurring decimal. Let's call it x. So x equals 1.05155151 and so on. Now that's x. We want to now get a recurring decimal that's got the recurring bit after the decimal point. Now this 0 doesn't recur, so I'm going to multiply this by 10. So 10x equals 10.515151 and so on. Now if we go back to our x, I'm not going to multiply this by 100 because that would give me 105.151515 and so on. I want 515151. So if I go back to my x and I multiply this by 1000, now it give me 1051.515151. So let's write that. 1000x is equal to 1051.515151 and so on. Okay, so we've got these. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to write the 10x beneath the 1000x, so 10.515151 and so on. And we're going to take them away, because if we take these away, what we'll find is this recurring bit cancels out. So 1000x take away 10x is 990x. And on the right hand side, the bits after the decimal point, they'll just become 0. So we've got 1051 take away 10, that's going to be 1041. So now if we divide by 990, we get that x is equal to 1041 over 990. Now if we have a look at the denominator we're trying to find, it's got 330, so I'm going to divide both of these by 3. So x is equal to, the denominator is going to be 330. Let's look at the numerator, let's divide that by 3. It's a non-calculator question, so I'm going to have to do the bus shelter method. 3 into 1 doesn't go, remainder 1. 3 into 10 goes 3 times, remainder 1. 3 into 14 goes 4 times, remainder 2. And 3 into 21 goes 7 times. So it's going to be 347 over 330. Now this is a mixed number, so how many 330s go into 347? That's going to be 1, so x is equal to 1. Our remainder will be 17 over 330. And that's it, so 1 and 17 330ths. And that's it. And that's it, we've shown what we were asked to show. Okay, let's have a look at our next question, question number 30. So here we've got a triangle, and we've been asked to find the length of BC. So we're going to be using either sine rule or cosine rule or something like that in this question. Now we've got two sides in the angle enclosed between them. So that means if we want to find the length of the third side, we're going to use the cosine rule. So the cosine rule is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. So that's the cosine rule, and what it's saying is the side we're trying to find, this a, would be equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos the angle we know, the angle in between them, that 55 degrees. So let's substitute in our values. A squared, well, that's what we're trying to find. Let's just call it x, so x squared is equal to b squared plus c squared, so b squared plus c squared. It doesn't actually matter which way around you write these, so I'm going to do 18 squared plus 14 squared minus 2bc cos a, so that's 2 multiplied by b, which is 18, multiplied by c, which is 14, multiplied by the cos of the angle, so the cos of 55 degrees. And when we work this out, we're going to get the x squared equals, let's work this out. Okay, that's equal to 230.9174761. Now that's that length squared, but obviously that length is obviously going to be smaller than 230 and so on. So let's square root that to find x. So x equal to the square root of this, and if we square root that answer, we get that that's equal to 15.1959 and so on. And let's just round that to 3 decimal places. That'll be 15.196 centimeters to 3 decimal places. And that's it. And if you got that, well done. Okay, let's look at our next question, question number 31. Okay, let's look at our next question, question number 31. So question number 31, we've been asked to find the sides of this angle. So it's a circle theorems question. So let's have a look at how we would find the sides of this angle. Now the first thing I notice here, we've got an angle at the center. So the angle at the circumference is going to be half of that. So 110 divided by 2 is equal to 55 degrees. So that angle there would be equal to 55 degrees. Next, we've got a cyclic quadrilateral. Here's a quadrilateral. We've got this is 55 degrees, so the angle opposite it, this angle and this angle, will add together to be 180 degrees. So if we do 180, take away 55, that's equal to 125 degrees. So this angle up here would be 125 degrees because the opposite angles on a cyclic quadrilateral always add together to be 180 degrees. Okay, next we'll notice here we've got a straight line. So here we've got 125 degrees. So if we take that away from 180, subtract 125 is equal to 55 degrees. So that means that this angle here is 55 degrees. Now in terms of this angle, why? Well, here we've got a triangle and we know two of the angles, so we can just take them away from 180. So if we do 55 plus 103, that's equal to 158 degrees. And then if we do 180, take away 158, that's equal to 22 degrees. So that means that this angle is 22 degrees. And that's it. And if you got that, well done. Okay, let's look at our next question, question number 32, and it's a simultaneous equations question. It's quite nice, it's a calculator question. So we want to find out our values of x and y, so let's multiply the top equation by 3, so let's multiply this equation by 3 and this equation by 2, and that'll give us 6y and minus 6y. So let's do that. So let's multiply the top equation by 3, so that'll give us 15x plus 6y equals, and then it's a calculator question, so minus 34 multiplied by 3 is equal to minus 102. And then the bottom equation, we're going to multiply this by 2, so it's going to be 8x minus 6y is equal to minus 82. So we've multiplied the top equation by 3 and the bottom equation by 2. As you can see here, we've got 6y minus 6y. Now minus 6y plus 6y would be 0, so let's add these equations to each other. So let's add 15x plus 8x would be 23x. Minus 6y plus 6y is equal to 0, so they cancel out. And then if we add these together, minus 102 plus minus 82 is equal to minus 184. Now we want to find out what x is, so let's divide by 23 and divide by 23, and then we'll get that x is equal to, and if we divide by 23, that's equal to minus 8. So x is equal to minus 8. And so let's substitute that into one of our equations to find the value for y. So let's choose the top equation. So we've got 5 times minus 8. 5 times minus 8 will be minus 40. plus 2y is equal to minus 34. We want to find out what 2y is, so let's add 40 to both sides. So let's add 40 and add 40 to get rid of the minus 40. So if we add 40 to both sides, the left-hand side we'll be left with 2y. On the right-hand side, we'll get that's equal to 6, and then divide by 2, and divide by 2, and we'll get that y is equal to 3. So we've got the x equal to negative 8, and we've got y is equal to 3. Minus 8, and y is equal to 3. And if you got that, well done. Okay, now last question. Our last question says, £5,000 is invested at 5.4% compound interest per annum. How many years will it take for the investment to exceed £8,000? So we've got initial multiplied by the multiplier to the power of time. I wrote that earlier in the hints video yesterday. So the initial amount of money is going to be 5,000. And let's just see how much it'd be worth after 1 year. So the multiplier, if we go up by 5.4%, that'll be 1.054. That's going to be the multiplier for a 5.4% increase. And then to the power of time, let's just try for 1 year and see what we get. So 5,000 multiplied by 1.054 to the power of 1 is equal to £5,270. Now we want 8,000, so we're going to need more years here. Let's try 8 years. So 5,000 multiplied by 1.054 to the power of 8 and see what we get. So if we change the power now to 8, that's equal to 7,615.44 to the nearest penny. Okay, we're going to need more years. Let's try 9 years. So 5,000 multiplied by 1.054 to the power of 9. And let's see what we get. And that's equal to £8,026.67 to the nearest penny. So that is above £8,000, so it'll take 9 years. So if that money, £5,000, is invested at that percentage compound interest per annum, after 9 years it'll exceed £8,000. So how many years will it take for the investment to exceed £8,000? The answer is 9 years. And that's it.
So that's it. So I hope you found those video solutions useful. The whole purpose of this paper has been to help you identify the topics that you're strong at, that you're good at, that are your strengths, and the topics you need to do some work on. So between now and the exam, that you can do some work on and that you can become really confident with in the summer so that you'll get the highest possible grade. So you get the highest mark that you can get, like a really high mark, and that means that you're going to get a high grade. So I really hope you found this video useful. I'll see you tomorrow for the next video. Cheers. Bye.